You're watching Spotlight on Real Estate with Shamil Blake. Welcome to Spotlight on Real Estate. I'm your host, Shamil Blake, and thank you again for joining us. And today we have a very special guest. We've been friends for about 6 years.
Yeah.
Yes. Introducing the one and only Raphael Gentry.
Yes. How you doing?
Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here, of course.
Yes.
Among some greatness.
Absolutely. And so, Raphael, when I first met you, you were a professor at Spelman College.
Right.
And from that to now, Airbnb King. Walk us a little bit through how that started and how that's been going for you.
Well, very interesting story on how it got started. So, back in 2019, I started working at Spelman in 2010, teaching in 2010.
Okay.
In 2019, I took a transformative trip to Cuba. And when I went to Cuba, the amount I paid to stay there for 1 week, that was my first Airbnb. And I said, hold on. And I did the currency exchange. They're in the Cook, and I did the currency exchange, and I said, oh my gosh, I think I just paid this man mortgage for the next 2 months for a 1 week stay.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I said, hold on, I think this is a type of business that I want to be a part of, right? So I really jumped in early. Like, Airbnb wasn't big in 2019 as it is now. So I really jumped in before the wave hit, right? Before everybody had just jumped in. So when I came back to Atlanta from that Cuba trip, I only had like $5,000 left to my name. I balled out in Cuba, had a great time, really did. Had $5,000 left. I took my last $5,000 and threw it into a 1-bedroom apartment over there by the airport. And that's when I got in my first Airbnb. Now, if I would have known a little better, I would have did some different moves, but I didn't have a coach. I didn't have a mentor because really nobody was in that space. So if I give anybody advice, start this business with a mentor or coach because you'll make less mistakes. Because when I first started, within my first couple months, I was evicted. Real quick. So, but I will say in this business, you got to have perseverance. Because if you don't have perseverance, you'll quit and you'll give up at the first sight of trouble. Or I got evicted. Oh, my credit finna be messed up. I ain't gonna be able to get another apartment. I just had to keep going. And one apartment eventually turned to 2 apartments. 2 apartments turned into 3. 3 turned into 4, and I started playing Monopoly. At this point, I said, okay, and Monopoly is 4 greenhouses and 1 hotel, right? So then after those 4 apartments, after getting multiple evictions, of course, along the way, but after those 4 apartments, I was able to use that Airbnb money and file business taxes and use that to get my first investment house.
Okay. So let's slow down a little bit, okay? So when you first started out Airbnb, you were renting. So now I'm assuming you're going more into owning the real estate.
Yes.
All right. So there are pros and cons to that, right? Because myself, I'm experienced with Airbnb.
Yes.
So let's discuss, should one rent or own the Airbnb?
That's a great question. Well, should you rent or own really depends on your personal strategy. Everybody has a certain strategy that they need to get into this game because everybody's in different positions. Some people may have a strong network, and with that network, you can exercise a strategy called rental arbitrage, to where you can use somebody else's property. And if you ask me, that's really the best way to go in the beginning because you take less risk. You don't pay any mortgage. You don't take care of any liabilities. You don't have to pay the phone bill, the light bill, anything. All you do is book the guests, make sure you host them, that they get in and they come out. So that's great. Right? That's one strategy. Renting, on the other hand, gets you in the business. It gets you in the door. A lot of people don't have the funds to go out and buy a house. Right? At the time, I was one of those people.
Of course.
I was 40 years old and didn't even have my own house, right? So renting puts you in a position to start business quickly.
Yes.
So that's a big advantage, right?
Yeah, but if you're looking more long term, and if you're looking 5, 10, 20, 30 years,
the house,
then it's a total different picture.
And what I figured out, I started doing rental arbitrage with people who own houses, and I said the price points are way different for one. The more people you can house, the more money you can make.
Yes.
And apartments, you're dealing with policies, rules, guidelines, a leasing office. You're dealing with guests who can go into the leasing office and get you evicted. So those are big negatives. And what I realized was after renting for a couple of years, I said, you know what? I can never pass this apartment down to my daughter. And she own it. I can be leasing it. I can lease this apartment out and I can give this company $50,000, $60,000, and I never own 1% of it. And the same is not true with a house. So when I got a house, my first year in business, I made, on books, made over $50,000 just with the house, but my equity went up 60.
Look at you.
So not only are you getting your money from your short-term rentals and your guests, you're building equity.
100%.
So apartments can in no way compete with equity and leaving a generational legacy and wealth behind to pass down to someone.
Oh, that is the beautiful part about it. So it basically goes to your finances. If owning is what you're recommending, but you're saying if you don't have the funds for that, then just start off renting the properties and then eventually moving to ownership.
Right.
Very good.
Exactly.
So what does real estate mean to you?
That's a great question as well. Real estate means exactly what it says to me, real. I think if you want to own anything in this life that's real, own real estate. It's what's real. It's something tangible that you own that builds equity, that builds generational wealth. It's a saying that when black people die, their children inherit dust.
Yes.
But not with real estate. Not when you're an owner, you always have something to pass down. And that's what I like about it. It's the sense of ownership and getting out of that rentership, right?
Okay,
and
I know that's right.
And when you're an owner, and that's where the word comes from, like a landlord, you're the lord of the land. You're the king or the queen of the castle.
Exactly.
And to be that, a king or a queen must own land or territory.
You can will it to someone.
Right.
It just gives you that control.
Right.
And peace of mind, I think.
And then over the years, as you build up a lot of equty, you can
Cash out. That's the beautiful part about it.
It
Then
is.
you're walking around with $300,000, $400,000 in your pocket, and that's how the middle class become the upper class.
100%.
through home ownership.
Yes, home ownership. I agree totally. So let's move on. As far as financial freedom, wealth building, I mean, you have a child, you want to leave a legacy for generations to come. How has real estate led you to earning 6 figures? And also, how has it given you financial freedom?
Oh man,
Financial freedom is the best part of it. Let me say that. I worked to create the life that I wanted for myself. I wanted financial freedom. I wanted to be able to wake up and do nothing if I chose. I wanted to be able to wake up and work on the beach, right? So, like I said, how I got there was just basically not quitting. I got into a lot of apartments in the beginning, and then after that, I just started buying a house every single year. So with that in mind, me buying a house every single year, just the equity alone of those houses, I can earn 6 figures just on the equity alone.
Wow.
But as far as the apartments, one thing that really helped me out was rental arbitrage.
Yeah.
So I had a very large network of I would say some millionaires that I was fortunate to meet. Like one guy alone owned 10 homes in Buckhead.
Oh my goodness.
So now I'm managing his properties and renting them out, not paying $1 for it, but just getting my percentage.
Yeah, that's
right?
a good way.
So that
was a really good way.
Because that way you don't have the liability
Right.
that he has or she has.
You don't have the liability.
Yes.
So what I did was I started investing my Airbnb money into something that was real. So I knew the apartment money wasn't real. I just knew that this money was just to do something else with, to my investment money. This was my cash flow investment money.
Exactly.
So I started investing it into properties, and then I got into Miami. And when I went into Miami, life changed. Everything changed. And that's when, like what you were saying, how I started to create freedom for myself and financial
Yes.
freedom,
Yes.
I was able to do Airbnb because I created an automated system for myself.
Wow, that's smart.
Which created my time. So if you want to have an automated system, you got websites like, Hostly and just different things to connect your house cleaning. But basically, what I was able to do was
Let my house cleaning run
Yeah,
things.
because over time you elevate, you're now delegating. You're not
Right.
running around doing the cleaning yourself and all
Right.
that stuff. So, but that takes time.
Right.
And I do admire your growth. But let's talk about locations.
Mm-hmm.
So you started off in Atlanta. What are some of the best locations for Airbnb?
Great question.
the club at Brickell Bay, which will allow owners to rent out an Airbnb. It was only 2 places in Miami that did it, and that
Wow.
was one of them. That's some
awesome.
good information for y'all. The club at Brickell Bay, y'all. It'll let you do it. So, when I got there, something unreal happened that has never happened in business before. I stayed booked 100% of the time for an entire year. 365 nights booked in 365 days.
This is in Miami?
In Miami.
Wow.
Never experienced anything like that.
But the real estate there is expensive, especially talking downtown Miami, Brickell area. It's, describe the return on your investment because, I've looked at 1-bedroom condos, easily $500,000.
Right.
So how much can you seriously rent your Airbnb per night in order for it to make economic sense?
So let me start by saying this: real estate is also a game of time. Like, you got to get in at the right time. When I moved to Miami and took my business to Miami, the real estate prices didn't skyrocket then.
Yeah.
They were still like, you could still get an older condo for $300,000 with the ocean view. But 350 might have been around what you would pay around the time I got there. The following year, that same condo that was selling for $350K is being sold for $500, and 5+ in 1 year time. The rates went up just that high.
Oh yeah.
So I kind of got there at the right time.
Yeah, I love it. I love that for you. So let's talk about your success. So you've been successful. You've started from the bottom, and you've paid your dues, and now you've moved from renting to owning, and now you're trying to create the Airbnb Academy.
Yes.
That is phenomenal. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, it
was a project that I've been working on for a couple of years that I wanted to educate people. Coming from a collegiate background as a professor, I said it's a perfect fit. I get a lot of people that come to me that are asking questions. So I started doing workshops. I started doing Airbnb King workshops. And in between that, I was filming, because I have a background in videography, I was filming classes.
Yes.
Now, what actually happened was, just from networking with people, I ended up pairing up with a company called Envision You.
Okay.
And I created the videos through Envision You, so I have an Airbnb King account through this company. And now we're doing Airbnb and Turo. And so it's not just Airbnb Academy, but it's also Turo. And the cool thing about the Academy is you can take it anywhere in the world. Just log into your computer, and you can take course 1, course 2. It's just like an online class.
That's beautiful. Totally virtual.
Yes,
so
totally
anyone
virtual.
can access anywhere in the world.
Yes.
To help you with it. And then for people who go directly through me and purchase directly through me, I become your automatic coach, your automatic mentor. So every week we can talk and go over the lessons, or go over build your strategy to get in, because there's a way for everybody. Even if you don't have money,
Yes.
you can get in if you know how to get in, and you're under the right coaching. You can get in with no money.
So if viewers out there want to connect with you, where can they find you?
All right. Well, you can connect with me at Professor G411 on Instagram. You can also reach out on Instagram to ATL BNB King. Again, that's ATL BNB King. Please follow me there.
Thank you so much, for being here with us today. And we wish you all the best, and we hope to see you again.
Thank you, Shamil. I appreciate it. Definitely will.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Shamil Blake. And if you ever need anything real estate, you know where to find me at Shamil Blake. Thank you again. See you next time.